Well, good afternoon, Whisperers. How you doing? Come on in. Just giving the app a second to notify everybody. Just going to look over and see if we are live in certain places and spaces. You know how it is. Just trying to get the notifications and different things that we are live. Got the notification we're live over here on YouTube, so which is great. So that means that we're probably live in our Facebook group as well. I see that we are live. I see everybody is coming in. Okay, so it's nice to be here this afternoon. And just giving it a second, it's so funny because we have, our intro that plays normally on Whispers in a Bottle. So it gives us a little second for it to give everybody time to get in and get comfortable. But over here on YouTube, we haven't figured out how to put our intro into here yet, but we are working on it. And so there's some changes that are going to happen over the summer as well. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Whispers in a Bottle, Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. This is the post show. My name is Sonya LaRae. I'm a lifestyle relationship counselor, fashion psychologist, educator, holistic health and wellness practitioner, and motivational speaker. But by far, I'm always honored to say that I am your host. We just wrapped our show at 3 o'clock over on blogtalkradio.com/whispers in a bottle. Woo! Guys, it was such a good show. It was so powerful. We leaned all the way in on ego and entitlement. And I have to tell you, it is such an honor and a pleasure to be able to really kind of build upon this discussion, build upon the things that we are really learning about understanding the ego. Good afternoon. Great to see you here this afternoon. Wonderful to have you in the space and place with me today. It's wonderful to be here. I tell you, a lot of times when we are doing this, I tell you that I'm always excited to come in and really kind of spend our life seconds together. And I tell you, I try not to keep you that long on the post show because we've had such dynamic discussions. Hey, 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 welcome in. Nice to see you here today. Good to have you a part of the discussion. And, today's discussion really was centered around ego leads to entitlement. And I told you guys during the show that entitlement means the belief that one is inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment. Now, you know, I really kind of wanted to kind of lean into that discussion and into that a little bit because, especially now in this day and age, and I hear so many of my clients come in and they speak to me and they speak to me about their children being entitled. But you realize that that has to start at the head. So it starts here and it trickles down. So it's like the apple, it rolls down, but it doesn't roll far from that apple tree. So, as I was stating in our discussion, that we have to be careful that we're not breeding this type of mentality even inside of our own homes with our children, our mates, or whatever, because it is so infectious. And I think that's a good word to use with it. It's infectious. And a lot of times, what happens is you know what? We see it constantly. We see it on television. You see it within the news that people now feel entitled, that they're entitled to their feeling of anger and emotion, and that's why they're entitled to pulling out a gun and even weaponizing themselves in such a way. So it behooves us to really start to understand the ego that really leans into this particular element and this particular feeling that people have. So, I always tell you that each show is different for all the discussions. And this is no different because this made me really kind of like sit in, and I love that you guys are even connecting with each other in the chat. I love that because it's about our community. And that's what we're building is community and what I want us to continue to move forward with. So literally today I was sitting, and as I was doing this, I tell you guys, sometimes how my energy is and what it moves me inside of the spaces and places where we are. We started our discussion first on noon vibe and really leaning into the reasons of why you needed to sit for that appetizer to really get your palate. Now, I want to tell you why I make it that you get your palate ready, because literally when we're learning new things about ourselves, be it the ego or different elements, sometimes we have to really get ourselves kind of primed for what is really going to happen and what's going to come in to that space and place. So in turn, what I really wanted to do with this discussion was to birth it from a space that each discussion brought in the element of what it was. So the appetizer was just to get you ready, get that palate ready, have a great appetizer to hold you over to the main course. The main course was to really feed you a smorgasbord. Now, some of you all have maybe never gone to a smorgasbord or know what it is, but literally a smorgasbord is divine because it's actually food from all different areas, different countries, different things that they're offering you at different stations and everything. And they even have carving stations that have like 12 or 13 different kind of meats and stuff. If you're into meat, that's going to be your spot. So in turn, that's where you're going to be. So in turn, that's what our main event was. So now we're in a decadent dessert hour, and dessert is more relaxed. It's more kickback. It's like that sip of coffee or, that chocolate cake and some water. Oh, guys, I got to make you laugh. Just a quick little thing to lighten your day. So all day today on meetings, different things that I had going on today, everybody was so taken by this water bottle. See it? So this water bottle has a companion, which is for my daughter, which is Karomi. She's in anime, and so she says, "Well, Karomi can't be by herself, Mom. She has a best friend, and you're my best friend, so you have to be my Melody." And so that's what she did. So that's my water bottle today, guys. Just to let you in on a little lightheartedness for today's discussion. So see, no ego here. So that's that. Look, I'm her part two. That's it. So literally, what I wanted to do here today is to kind of thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, a cake and coffee, right? That's what we need. That's exactly what we need. Um, Literally, I wanted us to kind of sit in this and almost do this like as if we were doing a journaling exercise. So I really want you guys to be active in the chat box with me, because I want to do it like as if we're journaling together. Like this is a journaling exercise. So I hope you guys are up for it. I hope you're willing to do this or try it with me, even because I mean, it's literally powerful. So literally, we talked about today of reflecting on identifying areas of our life where ego might be influencing our actions, leading to feelings of entitlement. So let's just say that we're kind of kicked back, we're listening to some music, and we're reflecting on the course of our element of our day. Okay, let's just take any day. You could think of it in any day or any way. I'm always down to, yes, I love it. You better say that. Say it with your chest. I love it. Um, Thanks, lovebirds, for these. So ends up that um I want you to like think of it this way. Think about a recent situation where you felt strong emotions, okay? Think about like you had really strong emotions, either positive or negative, okay? Either way. And it could be an interaction with someone, a decision you made, or an experience you had. Okay, so I'm giving you a broad spectrum to do this exercise with me. All right, so we're going to think about the emotions that we had, that we felt. Okay, be them, I mean, but strong emotions, be them positive or negative. It could be an interaction that we had in person, maybe over the phone. It could have even been work related, anything. Okay, I want you to describe this situation like kind of in a colorful detail. Who was involved? What happened? And how did you feel? Like, just kind of give me a little synopsis of, like, let's say, just say party A was mystery person A and party B was me. Okay. And what happened? So I'm going to give you guys a great situation and scenario. So ends up that I had a party A that got in touch, and they felt that I should literally just kind of not even have the emotion or feeling that, I am the one that that is always putting out, that I should be grateful to be the one that is looked to for direction, looked to for any kind of help that needs to be given, that I should be thankful that I am constantly the one that is pouring out and able to pour out. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That I should always be the one that shows up in that way. And I remember sitting in that moment and everything, feeling in my feelings and my thoughts that how this person could possibly even remotely think that is an okay thing. Like, what makes people feel that that's okay to put that onto a person to carry? So then I asked myself, what did I feel entitled to in this situation? And what I felt entitled to in this situation was respect. I felt that I wasn't being respected. I felt that I wasn't being honored. And I felt that they were just being constantly takers. My son, myself, court, lawyers, SE sisters, feeling heaviness, that heaviness. Yes, I love it. That's a great description of heaviness. All these things that are burdening you. But what did it feel? What did you feel entitled to in this situation, though? Now tell me that, because I felt that I was entitled to respect. I felt that I was entitled to respect. So tell me, what did you feel that you were entitled to in that situation? That feeling of heaviness. I love that. That is, oh, you on there. I got you. So with that, I had to sit in that space and place and ask myself a few questions of, why did I feel that way? Why did I feel that I felt entitled to a fair hearing? That is beautiful. So injustice. You felt that you needed to be heard and that it was not just. You wanted to be heard clearly. So you wanted to be just. Tell me in words like, I wanted to feel that I was being validated. Like, put those words in there if that's what you wanted. If you wanted to feel validated, if you wanted to feel justified in your feeling or what happened, tell me in that way, because I'm going to tell you that I felt that I was entitled to respect. And why I felt that way was because I always give respect. I'm a person that leads with it, and always give that. I always feel that because I give it, that it should automatically be given back to me, because I try to make sure that I honor everyone in that space and place that I come from. I felt I was entitled to getting notifications of the change. I like that. So how does that, what is the feeling of that entitlement, the feeling of change? Why did you feel that way? Why did you feel that way? So same questions that I asked the other person, I'm asking you now. Why did you feel that way? So I need the why now. So, because I want us to realize where we sit in the space and place, because sometimes we think that it is that we are entitled to certain things, but actually we have a wrong kind of essence of how it's put forward. So I was in that space and place of my why. Why did I feel this way? Was because I felt that I always give respect, so I'm entitled to that respect. So, did I expect others to act or respond in a certain manner? Oh, by far, yes, I did. I expected them to act and react in the same way that I do, because I waited 3 hours waiting for them to show up. I honor my appointments. Right. So, did you expect others to act or respond in a certain manner? So, I love that. Yes, I waited 3 hours and for them to show up, and they didn't honor my appointment or my time. Now, this is, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you, Trey. Good to have you here with me. So this is the thing. So literally, so they didn't honor your time. So that's a big feeling right there, right? And when we're talking about ego leads to entitlement, well, they didn't honor my time. I said that we had this appointment and I waited 3 hours waiting for you and you didn't honor the appointment. Now, this is the other thing. Did I expect others to act or respond in a certain manner that they should have honored in that way? So, yes, I did. In that experience of where I am in my space and place and my feeling of where I am, yes, I did. I felt that they should have given me that respect. Same with you. Yes, you felt the exact same way. How did I react when my expectations were not met? How did you react when your expectations were not met? So what I did, when my expectations weren't met, literally, I said to the person, I'm not understanding where exactly you are coming from or how this is really kind of registering with you to be okay. Because I would never just assume or just to place this burden upon you. So explain to me why you feel that it's okay to do that in turn. Because now I want to see where that person is in that space and place. Was my reaction justified or was it driven by ego? My reaction was justified because it was a situation where the person was really just having their feelings of like, I think this is how it should be because you're a professional, you're a therapist, you're used to handling things, and I'm not used to it. It's too heavy and too burdensome for me, and I just think you should do it. So then I had to walk that back and say to them how much I appreciated them feeling that I was the person that they could turn to just drop this burden of theirs on me. But unfortunately, at this time, I would not be able to honor it. But I wanted to honor them and really help them to see that I needed the same respect and the same honor that I was giving them. So, do you feel that I led with ego that led to an entitled feeling? Or did you feel that I led with compassion? So I want to ask you all that, and I'll wait to see what you guys feel as well. I'm going to get in these comments and see what it says. I cried and asked what else could be done on my son's defense. I love it. So you was compassionate. You was compelled to really ask and wanted to know what was going to be met for him. How could you do anything better? Was there an expectation that was being overthought on your part, though? Is it where it was a burden of proof that now we have this situation, this has been met, and this has been met, but we can't really kind of defend on this side of the table? Because sometimes we have to really be realistic with our expectations on certain aspects as well. And if it's a lack of certain things, we need to also find out why this person feels that they cannot stand up and be the voice that needs to be heard. Yes, I had an expectation. Yes, okay. So was it a realistic expectation or was it an expectation of feeling like I'm entitled to this and you have to do your due diligence no matter what? Or did we look at the full situation, the stance of things, and how it was that really kind of sat in a place of why? Because there's always a why things may not have turned out the way that we did. I calmed down, called the office, and asked several questions. However, the person on the phone couldn't find documentation about when or why the appointment was canceled. See, that's frustrating because, see, the person who may have canceled the appointment on you was not the actual person who did it, but then they're left to catch the ball. So in turn, It was just a hard feeling with feeling like there was no justification, no clarification, and everybody's just doing you wrong. So, no, it wasn't really okay. So, in turn, sometimes we have to pivot. And remember in the discussion we talked about, and I got my notes here because I tell you, I always come prepared for every discussion. We have to be willing to make that commitment. And that requires certain things of ourselves. And in this journaling exercise of what I wanted to do with you all and why I did it in this way is this way. Because when we make certain expectations that we are entitled to certain things, we have to be coming from a realistic view. So remember I said inside of the discussion that we want to be careful that we don't put that hold on a second, let me get the word for it because I don't want to misquote, the recognizing the shadow aspect of the ego. And now if you didn't get to hear the pre-show, that was in the pre-show, and that literally, that shadow expectation is where it has a expectation that is lofty, and that it is incorporated into the feeling of like you owe me something, or I'm entitled to due diligence of your part and you drop the ball, where it may not be in the realistic form of them dropping the ball, but it could have been from a circumstance or a situation where in the first circumstance, the person who was there who possibly canceled the appointment did not leave any notation in the system, did not say anything, didn't put notes forward. So unfortunately, now the person who is answering the phone is lashed with the kickback. And so in turn, they don't really know how to service you to even make it better because they wasn't privy to even a conversation or what happened. So in turn, that realistic expectation that we should have then is to be like, okay, listen, I understand now. How are we going to repair this moving forward? The second scenario that we would place with on this one here is now, okay, so the expectations I thought were going to be X, Y, Z. What exactly are we going to be faced with now? And how do we pivot from this negative into a positive if it's at all possible? Then we're not leading with that entitlement because our ego isn't inflated and we feel that we have not got our justice. You have not done anything. You have let me just down. No, because then we look at it from a realistic standpoint. Realistically, we know that there's limitations to certain aspects and even in every situation that we deal with in our lives. The situation that I was in, the person felt entitled. They felt entitled to drop the ball into my lap because I am a professional and more qualified to handle it than them. So balancing acts are different. And so that's why in the discussion I said that we have to go into a space and place of cultivation. And that space and place of cultivation actually vibrates at a different decimal. And it penetrates a different part of the heart. So remember I said to you in the discussion that when we cultivate, and I tell you constantly that the rich soil is our hearts. And sometimes, even if you're aware of how it is outside, like sometimes you go to a certain area, the ground is so impacted, like the dirt is just pounded down, like people just pounded down. It's just hard. And you pour water on it, and it doesn't seem to do anything. It just kind of sits on top, and it makes kind of like a little bit of mud. Same thing with our heart. Sometimes that heart has gone through so much. Sometimes that heart receives so many different, disappointments that it starts to get hardened a little bit. And the soil's not as easy to really cultivate, to allow certain things to sprout like compassion, empathy, understanding, because it's in such a heightened state. And our egos become so heightened and the expectation becomes so big that we are entitled to feeling and knowing these are my feelings. This is how I feel. But at no time do we ever put it in a space and a place of how our feelings, our emotions, and our thoughts are really kind of pivoted and changed and smashed onto someone else. So in turn, it requires work on our part. It requires that we do a little tilling. And sometimes it requires a lot of tilling because the soil can be really hard. And it requires that every day we come in and we pour a little bit more water in it to soften it, that we can start to turn the top layer. And that's all you get is the top layer kind of started to break up. And you come in and you add more water till it's the next layers that get to be broken up and turned over, until we really have that beautiful, rich soil that we need, that eradicates the feeling of entitlement and the ego being the true culprit of leading for our feelings, emotions, or our disappointment, or how we feel people should or shouldn't be doing. She apologized many, many times and rescheduled, as well as repeated her name and rescheduled me. I felt she took responsibility and handled it quite professionally. Yes, she did. But see, she was not the person that literally did you any ill will. She wasn't the person that dropped the ball, but she was the person that was the conduit that literally had to come in and be the impact and receive the letdown, the disappointment, the upset, and then to try to pivot, change, and fix what was incorrect. And sometimes it requires of us to step into that space and place of cultivation. Because cultivation means that we're going to step into a place and space of self-awareness. It's going to have us step into a place of compassion. It's going to have us to step into a place that vibrates at a different decimal, that allows us to even kind of pivot just enough to recenter ourselves. And sometimes that's what we as people have to be willing to do. And even when we're met with things that we know we are justifiable, we are justified with the feelings, but sometimes somebody has to be the bigger person to step things down so it doesn't elevate and it doesn't become so escalated. In the day and age that we live in, nobody wants to do that. And so that's why we see all the different things that we do see. Prime example, I live here in a big city right here in Philadelphia, and literally heard a story that a gentleman had bumped another person, and the person felt that he was being disrespectful, and he got up and he shot him. Even though the person had apologized, he felt he was disrespected. And that's what we have to be mindful of and we have to be careful of. And that's what this behavior of our egos that can lead into this entitlement. So, Whisperers, I just appreciate you all being here. Just to give you a quick broadcasting note, and just to remind you guys that next week we don't have an after show for our final show. So just to let you guys know, the last show will be on Blog Talk Radio at 3:00. And we're on blogtalkradio.com/whispers in a bottle. I'm going to be telling you how all the master keys throughout this season are to be applied and how they work congruently with each other. So you're not going to want to miss it. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good show. We will have our pre-show to that because there's some things I want to tell you guys, some things that are going to be coming down the line. Don't forget that we will be on our summer hiatus starting June 14th through September the 6th and returning September the 13th, all in the same spaces and places. But I got some special things that we're going to be doing over the summer. So Whisperers, get ready. I'm telling you, it's going to be good. I got something kind of cool planned, and I really want your feedback and I want you guys to be a part of it. So we're going to see how it is, and it might turn into something regular. So it depends on how it is received and how we do with it and what we're going to do with the show and everything. So don't forget to make sure that you are connected with us on our Instagram page at whispers in a bottle _podcast. Show each other some love. If you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, drop your handles in our chat so you guys can connect. It's all about community. I tell you constantly, it's all about community. Don't forget to subscribe to our beautiful, fabulous journal, The Whispers Exchange. There's a live link that's in the description box, and I know there's one also in the chat box. I'm not sure if you can click on links in the chat box or not. Never tried it, but I think you can. But if not, don't worry about it. You can do it in the description box, or if you go over to our Instagram page, it is in our bio. You just have to go over there and put in whispers in a bottle _podcast. Don't forget to give us a follow because, like I said, we're going to be doing some great things. So with that being said, everybody, you have been on Whispers in a Bottle, Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays, the post show. My name is Sonya LaRae. I'm a lifestyle relationship counselor, fashion psychologist, educator, holistic health and wellness consultant, motivational speaker, but by far, I'm always honored to say that I am your host. I look forward to us connecting again next week in our safe zones. And look, if you're not on the Noon Vibe app, I said act. If you're not on the Noon Vibe app that used to be the Wisdom app, DM us the word wisdom and we'll get you an invitation. So this way you can be a part of the pre-show, because I'm telling you, you are missing some good stuff, some tasty appetizers. So I look forward to connecting with you guys soon. Please be safe. Have a good weekend. Don't forget to stay hydrated and apply your sunscreen, please. All right, guys, be safe. Take care.